pageantry of homecoming weekend here on the Plains. 8th-ranked Auburn taking on Nick Saban's alma mater, Kent State. First meeting all time between these two programs. Auburn won the toss. They deferred. The ball falls off the tee, and Anders Carlson will reset. He'll kick it off to Jamal Parker for Kent State. Tigers had that big Week 1 win at Jerry World against Oregon, followed it up last week with a home win against Tulane. Kent State 1-1, a loss to Arizona State, an overtime win against FCS Kennesaw State. And the Golden Flashes will begin at their own 25-yard line. Woody Barrett began the season as Kent State starting quarterback. He began his career at Auburn, a big-time high school recruit. In fact, he was ranked ahead of Jalen Hurts coming out of high school. But Barrett did not start last week. Dustin Crum got the nod, and we were told Crum would get the start again today. There is a flag on the field at the 36-yard line. Remember, the kickoff was a touchback. David Smith, the head referee today. I have no idea what this could be about.
During the kick, holding number 19 on the return team, on the receiving team. Penalty is 10 yards from the previous spot. Replay the kick.
So there was a hold on a kickoff with no return.
Yeah.
And Sean Lewis is as confused as the rest of us. The head coach for Kent State, former assistant coach at Syracuse and Bowling Green and Eastern Illinois. He's a Dino Babers disciple, and he was on that staff at Syracuse 2 years ago when the Orange upset Clemson. Oh, by the way, that game tonight on ABC.
Not happy about his team here, starting off with a penalty there. You know, if they're going to win today, they've got to play near perfect, especially if this Auburn offense comes out today and really enforces their will upon an opponent that they have more talent than.
They say flash fast. That is the motto of this Kent State offense, and they will go up against maybe the best defensive line in the country and certainly one of the best defenses in the country. 2 weeks into the season, Auburn has looked championship caliber good defensively.
They've been outstanding, and the best part about them is you look across that defensive front and it's littered with NFL talent, but their ability to get off the field on third down has been phenomenal. Watch today on third downs, the versatility, the schemes they use, and how they use their personnel.
Dustin Crum getting the start at quarterback, second week in a row. He'll hand it off on first down and devoured immediately. Joel Shaw, the senior out of Pittsburgh, on cue, that great defensive line.
Yeah, and Kevin Still sent run pressure. He figured that on first down that they were going to run the football, and you just see everyone attacking downhill. And this is a bunch that doesn't miss a lot of tackles. When they get their hands on you, they drop ball carriers.
The centerpiece of that defensive line, number 5, Derek Brown. We were at practice Thursday when he stood up out of his stance. Looked like Kilimanjaro in cleats.
He's a bull.
Crum will throw, completes the pass. Isaiah McCoy breaks a tackle, bounces to the outside. A flag is down at the very end of the play. First down yardage if it stands.
Holding number 11 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, second down.
Penalty is on wide receiver Mike Carrigan, who did not play in the first 2 games, and Sean Lewis said he'll be available today if he does the right things this week. Did not get into more detail, and Carrigan called for the holding penalty. And now listen, Kent State's a big underdog going into this game anyway. You get some early penalties against this defense, that does not set up for a recipe for success. Crum on the quick slant, incomplete. Good coverage by Noah Igbinoghene. Let's take a look at tonight's Chick-fil-A impact players, Ahmad.
Outstanding play out there on the edge. And for Kent State, it's their running back, Joel Shaw. He's got to get involved and get some carries on the ground and get momentum going. Wide receiver Isaiah McCoy is their guy when they pass. And senior defensive tackle Derek Brown, one of the best defenders in the country. Not to mention Jeremiah Denson in the back end, one of the best lids. I believe that this guy is in the same category as a guy up the street, Delpit. And you'll see him today move around, make tackles, especially on third down. This is where they like to confuse quarterbacks.
Four-man pressure. Crum setting up the screen. Completes the pass. Adam Dulka. And a first down at the 40. So Kent State, a little anticipation perhaps, and the right play call.
That was an excellent play call, because here's what you do when you have an attacking style defense like Auburn. How do you beat them? You make their speed work against them, and that's exactly what they did.
Now trying to go quickly. And this is Shaw into the teeth of the defense. Not much.
Yeah, look at the blue jerseys around there. These guys are hungry for tackles. They compete who can get to the ball first. It truly is a party at the football with this Auburn bunch. And I believe this is the reason, not Bo Nix being the savior here. And this is about this defense being able to.
This pass batted down, and Crum thrown to the ground by Derek Brown.
Oh my goodness. He just shuts off the wide receiver. I mean, the offensive lineman, watch this, makes the play, and he's like, get off of me. I mean, that's the play you're going to see on draft day. Number 5 is a bad man.
Kevin Steele, the defensive coordinator, said, Reggie White's the best D lineman I've coached. Derek Brown is number 2. Another screen pass, worked to perfection, and it's Shaw into Auburn territory. So a couple of third and longs, and Kent State has been able to convert. Auburn's been really good on third down the first 2 games.
And there was only one player that recognized that screen there, and that was Derek Brown, who made the tackle all the way downfield. They've got to do a better job of recognizing that and making a play. Offsides here.
Free play. Downfield, incomplete. Good coverage that time by Christian Tutt.
This is what this tempo does for you. They weren't set. They weren't ready. And Kevin Steele told us yesterday, he said it's so much more complicated now calling plays. You have to be ready, and you've got to make a call extremely fast, and then you put it in the hands of your players. That time there, the defense wasn't ready. Free play for the Golden Flashes.
Offside on the defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
Now that is Tyrone Truesdell. Kent State a little banged up on its offensive line. Sam Allen getting the start at left tackle, number 69. Jamil Vio left last week's game with an injury. Center Nate Warnock also left last week's game with an injury, but he is in there from the beginning for Kent State. Crum rolling out under pressure, and he throws it away. Big Cat Bryant with the quarterback hurry.
Another one of those versatile pieces there. I mean, you'll see him in a 2-point stance. He can play out of a 3-point stance. He's long, he's athletic, and you saw there him tracking down the quarterback and forcing him to throw that football. But here's the thing. We talked about how excellent they are on third down. Right now, this is about Kent State moving the football. And they've had 2 penalties, yet they're still making plays. This Auburn Tigers defense has to put a stop to this.
It looked like a wildcat look, and now Crum into the backfield again as quarterback. Shaw a little off his left hip. Shaw gets the call. Much better going north-south than east-west, and picks up a yard. Another third down for Kent State.
You know, the thing, Anish, that makes them so confusing, they typically go with a sugar look, as you can see Kent State getting into this hurry up, really trying to press the gas.
Explain what a sugar look is.
Well, they're going to normally put more guys on the offensive line, along the line of scrimmage, and force the offensive line and the quarterback to guess to see where the pressure's coming.
A 4-man rush. Crum steps up. He'll run. And Crum able to move the chains, so Kent State has converted 3 third downs on this opening drive. teams were 6 of 29 on third down against Auburn in the first 2 games.
They were leading the SEC and 6th in the country, and right now, this offense is starting to get some momentum. And here's what it does. It wears down your defense when you sustain these types of drives. I don't think Kent State could have asked for a better start.
11th play of the drive. Shaw up the middle, and it dropped at the 24-yard line. KJ Britt on the stop, a middle linebacker for Auburn. Spent 2 seasons as the understudy to Deshaun Davis, who was the heart and soul of this Auburn defense the last 2 years. And this linebacking core, a new starting cast, has really done a nice job so far for Auburn the first 2 games. Crum kept it on the zone read, close to the 20. Tackled again by Britt and Ahmad. Another third down here for Kent State. Can they do this again?
Well, great decision by Crum. Right now, he's the leader. You know, that time there, you see the defensive end, Hall, caves in on the interior run, and he just pops the run on the backside because he left home. Now, in these third and short situations, we have not seen them bring the blitz yet. And this is where it gets tricky because you don't want to give them the opportunity to convert on something quick and easy as they go to this empty look. Beware of the quarterback run out of this look.
Crum will throw. It's caught. Cavius Price inside the 10, down to the 6-yard line, 1st and goal. And Kent State continues to make the play on third down.
And that was on one of the best defensive players in the SEC as they continue with this up-tempo offense that's really wearing down the defense. Now they're trying to call a timeout. Wow.
Timeout.
You can see Kevin Still. He's down on the sideline. He's trying to charge up his guys. Now it's about communication. Now you're on some skates. You're on your heels. You've got to get it together.
Gus Malzahn preached this week he'd like to get off to a better start. It's Kent State on the move early, though.
Telluride, built to make each trip a story. Tales worthy of becoming fine, leather-bound books. And because of the available 6 built-in USB charging ports, none of those books will begin. Chapter 1. Today, our phones all died.
A beautiful backdrop here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Anish Shroff, Ahmad Brooks, Chris Budden down on the sideline with you. Homecoming weekend for Auburn. And the War Eagle flew earlier, but it's the Kent State Golden Flashes flying down the field. An opening drive, more than 5 minutes. This will be the 14th play. It's 1st and goal. The Flashes have converted 4 third downs on this drive. Xavier Williams bouncing. And all that for no gain. Williams, a little more speed than Shaw. A state champion sprinter in high school. It sets up 2nd down. Crum now under center. Now the line morphs. They've got big number 75 split wide. Adam Gregory. And to the sideline, it's Antoine Dixon. 3rd and goal. 4 times on this opening drive, Kent State has converted a 3rd down.
3rd and 11, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. And this was a team that was 33% on 3rd down coming into the ball game, and Auburn was one of the best defensively. But, you know, if you can hold them here to a field goal, assuming they send out their field goal unit, I think this would be a win for this Auburn defense.
Williams, the tailback. Crum, end zone. Incomplete, intended for McCoy. Roger McCrary, the sophomore from Mobile, on the coverage, and now it's 4th down.
It's great usage of his hands. Perfect timing as the wide receiver's hands went up. his went up. And if you're going to have your back to the ball, that's how you've got to play that. And Auburn, after getting that timeout, needing that timeout because they were gassed, with an opportunity here to force them to a field goal.
Matthew Trickett hit the game-winning field goal last week against Kennesaw State in overtime. This a 21-yard chip shot. And this one splits the uprights. A 17-play opening drive, 71 yards, eating up more than 6 minutes of clock for Kent State.
Telluride, built to make each trip a story. Tales worthy of becoming fine, leather-bound books. And because of the available 6 built-in USB charging ports, none of those books will begin. Chapter 1. Today, our phones all died.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by the Lexus ES, a product of mastery. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Those adorable puppies are part of the Canine Performance Sciences program at Auburn's College of Veterinary Medicine. They breed about 60 puppies a year. School starts on day 3 of life, and Auburn developed a canine technology called vapor wake detection. It detects hand-carried and body-worn explosives.
Awesome.
Kent State will kick it off after a field goal. Short kick. And fair catch made at the 31. We say hello to Kevin Connors. Gawaloku, a great story, came over from war-torn Liberia into Salt Lake City with just the clothes on his back. Boobie Whitlow, who fumbled 3 times last week, with a nice pickup on first down. And for Gus Malzahn, first down yardage is a big point of emphasis this week. As you look at the true freshman Bo Nix making his 3rd career start. To the air to Eli Stove. And Stove across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Nix, the hero of that season opener at Jerry World, finding Seth Williams late in that game for the go-ahead score, had the big 4th down scramble. Dad, of course, played at Auburn, and Dad was his coach growing up. And Stove again, his team leading 12th catch to midfield. Good for 7 yards on first down, 2nd and 3.
Excellent decision there from the freshman quarterback. They had him in his RPO run pass option package and consecutively going to Stove. And it felt like last week they started to find some chemistry. And today expect him to get more touches.
They made a change on the offensive line. Bailey Sharp getting the start at left tackle in place of Prince Tego Wanogo.
Their second.
Auburn burns his 2nd timeout. 7:37 to go. Opening half, opening quarter. I need to play better. Bo Nix's words after the win against Tulane last week. Chris Budden, Bo is his own biggest critic.
He is. There isn't anyone harder on Bo than himself. It's something that Will Hastings has recognized, and he told me, I see a lot of myself in him, and he's trying to get him to have some sort of an outlet. Will hosted him on his recruiting visit, and so he said, hey, you need to put a TV in your room, dude. Play some PlayStation. Have a hobby outside of football. So it's not that often you find a player who needs to watch more TV.
There's Boobie Whitlow on 2nd down, close to the marker. When we talked to Kenny Dillingham, Auburn's offensive coordinator, yesterday, he told us when he asked Bo, hey, what do you do when you're not around football? And he goes, what do you mean? He said, do you have a hobby, like Chris said? But you can't do anything football related. He said, can I watch film? No, that's football related. Can I study the playbook? No, that's football related.
He's a junkie.
Whitlow up the gut, breaking tackles. And Boobie Whitlow powers across the 40-yard line, a gain of 11.
This is a good sign. In talking to Gus yesterday, he said, we want 2 feature backs. And frankly, they want Whitlow to be the guy. You know, you've got the senior leadership in Cam Martin, but they need guys to step up. In addition to that, Bo Nix has to run the football. He has to make defenses respect his ability to run.
Whitlow, north of 1,000 yards rushing for his career. He gets the call. No, it's Nix on the keeper. Nix showing some agility all the way to the 21. Ahmad, you said the quarterback run game has to be a bigger part of this offense.
Well, they run read options. They run as they get into their tempo offense, their RPOs. And if you're not going to run, why would the defense respect that? And this kid is athletic. You saw him there scamper and pick up first down yardage.
Nix keeps it again. Makes a nice move inside the 5. First and goal, Auburn.
I like it. I like it a lot. And I asked the staff several times, what is their plan for this? And they said, you know, in a game we want him to get 5 to 6 carries where he has the defense respect him. 2 excellent runs for Bo Nix.
Whitlow into the pile, into the end zone. A little redemption on that drive for both the quarterback and the running back. Boobie Whitlow fumbled 3 times last week. Bo Nix under 50% completion through 2 games.
You're absolutely right. And these are 2 young players. Whitlow just being a sophomore, Nix being a true freshman. If these 2 guys can become the tandem that I think this coaching staff believes they can, it gives them an option to be able to run the football with authority.
You think of the great Auburn teams this decade. It was Cam Newton and Michael Dyer, Nick Marshall, along with Trey Mason, the quarterback, a big part of that run game component. Bo Nix had a big hand in that touchdown drive, but it's Boobie Whitlow providing the punctuation. Auburn on top.
Telluride. Built to make each trip a story. Tales worthy of becoming fine, leather-bound books. And because of the available 6 built-in USB charging ports, none of those books will begin. Chapter 1. Today, our phones all died.
NFL Prime Time is back on Sunday nights, airing exclusively on ESPN Plus at 7:30 p.m. Eastern all season long.
Highlights from all the Sunday games. Look ahead to Monday, and
love those
that
guys,
music.
Man.
Oh, I was hearing that music all day today.
Love it.
Get that on the playlist. 7:30 Sundays, ESPN Plus.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And that's Auburn's. Auburn had not scored a touchdown. Had not scored a first quarter touchdown this season, and Gus said, we've got to start fast. We've got to commit to running the football. They did that, and they did it very effectively.
This season, Taco Bell celebrates student sections and passionate fans like the ones you'll see tonight here at Auburn by awarding the Live Mas Student Section of the Year. The Auburn Tigers student section already on the national watch list. Go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see how your school can compete or get the committee's attention by using #LiveMoss Student Section Contest. Kent State, 17 plays on its opening drive. It stalled inside of the Auburn 10. They came away with 3 points. And both teams offensively began this game the way they wanted to. A long drive for Kent State. Auburn showing some strong offense early, and there's Mike Carrigan's first catch of the season.
Doing a nice job of mixing up the play call. and forcing these defenders to tackle in space. The hardest tackle to make in football.
Crum keeps it, has some green space, and thrown to the ground by Igbenogany. It's a first down for Kent State, a gain of 16 by Dustin Crum, the junior aerospace engineering major. He was the backup the last 2 years. Crum will take a shot downfield. Incomplete. We get a flag. Christian Tutt was tied up. He was covering Isaiah McCoy.
Crum has been magical with the mesh point early on, really deceiving the defense. And it has the entire defense thinking that it's going to the running back, and he's done a good job of pulling it.
On the defense, number 6, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
We saw Derek Brown come out of the game on the first drive. It was a 17-play drive for Kent State. You figured might be a little winded. He has not come back into the game.
That's concerning.
Brown, a projected first-round pick. That was the case last year when he was a junior, but he elected to return to school. Now some pressure by Auburn up front, looking for space. Xavier Williams, and he picks up about 3. It looked like a wildcat look, and now they will stay in a wildcat. A lot of movement. Now Crum comes back to take the snap. Williams joins him in the backfield. Faking the toss. Crum up the middle. Third down.
And you know, with all that window dressing, you didn't see one Auburn Tiger move. Kevin still knew this headed into this ball game, that they were going to show various looks. And that window dressing is to confuse the defense. When you've got a veteran group like this, they know better. They know they've got to stick to the game plan, handle their responsibilities, and make their play. And here's where they like to move up front. You see all that movement for Auburn? This is to confuse the offensive line.
It is a wildcat look. Little trickeration. Cavius Price will throw it. It's at the feet of the quarterback, Crum, who gets knocked backwards by Tutt. And it's 4th down. A late flag at the end of the play. 2 flags, in fact.
That appears to come from the coaching staff, but wow. Did you see Big Cat Bryant just flatten Price for the Golden Flashes?
Now this could knock Kent State out of field goal range.
You're right. Costly penalty.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the head coach for Kent State. That occurred after the play. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. 4th down.
Let's take a look at what he's upset about. This hit here, for sure, on Crum. A little acting there, a little Ginobili involved, but however, the reality of it is, it's not a very smart play either on the defensive part. The play was dead, and he's right. You've got to protect your quarterback, and the way that Crum is playing right now, he's been a vital part of their early offensive success.
And now instead of a long field goal, and they've got a good kicker and Trickett, the punt team comes on. Derek Adams has been terrific through the first 2 games. 7 of his 12 punts have landed inside the 20. Tutt to receive. It takes a Kent State bounce, rolling backwards, and it dies at the 7-yard line. Another terrific punt by Adams, and Auburn begins inside its own 10-yard line.
And after that last drive, Anish, why would they do anything else except run the football? You know, this is one of those games, if you're Auburn, you've been struggling to run the football with a very experienced offensive line, They know how important that will be in SEC play. And continue to push. You want your guys to gain confidence so that when it's time and these things really count in terms of conference championships, your guys are ready to go.
On the ground, Whitlow. Straight ahead to the 10-yard line. Nick Faulkner with the tackle, providing the sound and the fury. 2nd down.
And Gus told us yesterday, he said some of the lack of running production has been his fault. He shouldered some of that blame because he said, I haven't committed to calling those plays in the first and second half. It's been a complete opposite. They're trying to establish their ground attack, and it's been working for them.
Joey Gatewood into the game. We were told we'd see some of Joey Gatewood tonight. He is the backup quarterback. I don't want to make the Cam Newton comparison, but physically there is a resemblance, and they like to use Gatewood in quarterback run situations. Expect more of Gatewood when Auburn gets closer to the end zone inside the 10-yard line.
He's like trying to tackle an offensive lineman downfield. I mean, he's 6'5", he's a big boy, and their running style is very similar to that of Cam Newton, and that's where you can see the comparisons have been drawn.
Harold to Joyner in motion. Joyner catches the swing pass and pushed out of bounds. He's across the 20 to the 25. Joyner, another weapon for Gus Malzahn, who's calling the plays this year. It started in the bowl game against Purdue. They dropped 50+ in the first half of that game. And now for Malzahn, listen, there's pressure on him. He knows that, has not shied away from that. Returning to the play calling duties, that's a bet on himself. Joyner again, motions. Whitlow. Met at the line of scrimmage. Looks like he might have gained a yard. It'll bring up 3rd and about 2.
And despite the box being stacked, I mean, Kent State sold out on that one. They were trying to defend the run. If you're Auburn, you still want to be able to run in those types of situations. But what it does do, now you set up a 3rd and short situation. And this allows the opportunity for this offense to put the ball in the hands of their quarterback. Let him make a decision and put you in the right play.
Extra blockers in Nye and Wilson. And Whitlow breaks the initial tackle. Booby Whitlow into Kent State territory. Still rumbling. And taken down after a gain of almost 40.
Wow, I'm not sure how he stayed on his feet. He jumped in the air and still managed to shoulder off a defender as they get into their hurry-up.
Strong first quarter for Whitlow. Gets it again. A loss of 1.
And what I like about Whitlow is he's still learning the position. I mean, this is a kid that was a quarterback in high school. We know that he's had issues holding on to the football, but the coaching staff still believes that this kid's future is bright. And the more confidence he can gain, the more they can rely on him and give him those touches. And today he's had good ball security, and he'll have to continue to do that. If not, his mom may be waiting on the sideline getting ready for him to do some push-ups.
She made him do 50 push-ups after he fumbled last year. Cam Martin off to the races. Touchdown, Auburn.
A nice change of pace here, and Cam Martin really, he just gets to the second level fast and furious as the offensive line clean. A nice job of breaking away and punching one in the end zone for the senior out of Port Arthur, Texas.
Cam Martin, a senior, was the team's #1 running back at the beginning of last year. Lost his spot to Booby Whitlow, but they still feel he's an important part of that backfield stable, and coaching up the running backs this year at Auburn, one of the Auburn all-time greats, Carnell Cadillac Williams.
Oh man, it was fun talking to him and just reminiscing. And and that's how you get more touches. Your first touch, you take 35 yards to the house. And this is the 1-2 punch they want to see and they want to feature. And the more that those guys can work together, you know, in this day and age, if you are going to commit to the run, not only does it help with the durability of your running backs, but it also keeps a fresh player in there. And that sometimes is the boost you need as you wear down defenses and you're really trying to enforce your will and win the line of scrimmage.
Offensively, this is what Gus Malzahn wanted. Auburn a heavy favorite tonight, taking on a Kent State team that nearly lost to an FCS school last week. You want to assert your dominance offensively, and with the schedule about to turn into a gauntlet, this is the type of game where Auburn can build some confidence offensively. Build some confidence on that offensive line, which has not lived up to expectations. Get the running game going. Build more confidence for their precocious freshman, Bo Nix.
Leave no questions.
Next week, we have Oklahoma State and number 12 Texas from Austin. Cowboys come into this one having beaten the Longhorns 4 years in a row. Ahmad, you're a former Longhorn. Last home win for Texas against OK State, 2008.
Yeah, and Sam Ehlinger gave one away his freshman year, so it'll be exciting to see as he's budded into a star if he lets that happen again.
Texas lost last week to LSU. Avius Price hauls it in shy of the 30, brought down by Jeremiah Dinson. And that will be the final play of this opening quarter. Gus Malzahn wanted a fast start. He wanted big yards on first down. He wanted the run game to get into gear. Offensively, Auburn in sync after 15 minutes.
That game that you're running, baby, you've already won. I need to know what do you like, 'cause I'm gonna be it tonight. You can be cool, you can be shy, say what you want, say what you like, 'cause your body talks, your body talks, your body talks.
Here at Auburn University, and the Tigers off to a good start. 2 scores on their first 2 offensive drives. Anae Schroff, Ahmad Brooks, Chris Budden down on the sidelines. We've seen a championship caliber defense in the first 2 games from Auburn. How far they ultimately go will depend on how far the offense goes here in the next few weeks.
You're right. The development of Bo Nix and his passing and his decision making, and in addition to that, who are going to be the playmakers at the wide receiver position and the running back position, and they're starting to see players emerge.
TFL for Tyrone Truesdale, who had 6 tackles in the opener against Oregon, including a huge 4th down stop. And now a 3rd down for Kent State. 4 for 6 on 3rd downs tonight.
Kevin Steele and his defense, they've opted to go with just showing a forefront look and not moving with the sugar blitz. They're dropping numbers back, keeping things in front of them.
And the Auburn transfer, Woody Barrett, is in the game. Began his career here. Gus Malzahn spoke highly of him. Barrett will run and tackled at the 30-yard line, 4th down. Woody Barrett turns 22 on Thursday, and coming into the season, he was expected to be one of the top quarterbacks in the MAC. He was on the cover of Kent State's media guide, the Week 1 starter, but was benched in the opener at Arizona State, did come back to finish the game, did not get the start last week, did not get the start again today. But Sean Lewis, who you see there with the beard, the head coach, told us both quarterbacks will see the field tonight, and that was the first look at Woody Barrett.
He brings value to this team, especially with his legs, as they ran the design quarterback draw with him on 3rd down.
Adams to punt it away. Out of bounds. Let's see where they mark it. And Auburn will start at its own 46-yard line. Bo knows. He knows Auburn. His dad, Patrick, was a terrific quarterback on the Plains. And there's Bo in the bottom left celebrating that championship at the start of the decade. He knows swagger. First start, fourth down against Oregon at Jerry Wild, converts, and then, listen, the biggest thing for a QB is winning games. He made the winning play. Overall numbers, they don't jump out at you yet, but this was a big-time recruit. He's got some moxie, and they feel with his background and his pedigree, the learning curve could be accelerated even though he's a true freshman. Finds Whitlow, who's unable to hold on, ruled incomplete.
Oh my goodness. I mean, excellent play call. He makes the right decision. And listen, he's missed a few of these throws, but that's a play that is solely on the running back. You make that catch in Pop Warner. You've got to be able to complete that and make that and connect for your team. And Bo knows it. That was an explosive play waiting to happen, and Whitlow drops the football.
Bo knows a missed opportunity. Sean Shivers, the shifty sophomore out of Fort Lauderdale. He's a guy Auburn would like to get the ball to in space, and it brings up third and manageable.
Yeah, but Gus made the point to also say that Shivers is also a very good interior runner. He's stout. You know, when you look at him, you can tell he's got those broad shoulders, and he's built to be that size and to play at this level of football.
Yeah, listed at 5'7", and most of the weight in the lower half. Cam Martin straight ahead. He'll be shy of the marker, fourth down, and a decision here from Alzan in the second quarter.
He's going for it. You know, and in between the 40s is for every coordinator, for every head coach, you let your play callers know, you let your coaches know. You know what I'd do here? I'd put the ball in the hands of Bo Nix. We've been talking about him. We've seen how he's been able to run the football. Let him make a decision and convert here. Looks like it's a pooch punt coming up.
And Nix sends it downfield. Nobody back for Kent State. And Auburn downs it inside the Kent State 15. A 40-yard punt by Bo. He knows special teams too.
Game that you're running, baby, you've already won. I need to know what you like. 'Cause I'm gonna be it tonight. You can be cool, you can be shy. Say what you want, say what you like. 'Cause your body talks, your body talks. Your body talks.
Welcome back. Kent State wide receiver Antoine Dixon is appreciative just to be able to play football. He missed 2 years because he suffers from an extremely rare blood disorder, aplastic anemia, where the body does not produce new blood cells. He required a bone marrow transplant. His dad was a perfect match and the donor for him. So he returned last year. He got down to 125 pounds. He says now he feels great. It's something that they just had to monitor. It doesn't affect the way he plays. He told me the only requirement is that he has to wear sunscreen. I asked him what he learned by it. He said, well, if I was able to play when I was sick, think of what I could do at 100%.
Isaiah McCoy makes the catch for a first down. Antoine Dixon, before the blood disorder, led Kent State in receiving yards. That was 2015. Missed 2 seasons, came back last year. 50-plus catches, more than 500 yards. The Mayo Clinic Comeback Player of the Year. Adam Dolka getting close to midfield for Kent State. Now, this environment for a team that's never been here, you might be down a touchdown or two before you even take the field. They've not been intimidated by the setting at all.
That's the second time tonight. One of their passing targets has ripped the ball out of the hands of a Tigers defender.
Shaw, not much. Chris?
Well, Antoine Dixon has been an inspiration for kids at Davie Elementary School. 5 years ago, the Kent State football team went to go read to kids. And Carrie Lorenzo, Miss Lorenzo, who teaches 4th grade, loved Antoine's story. So she brought him back again. And the kids were so inspired by him, he just kept coming back and kept coming back.
Isaiah McCoy isn't coming back. A touchdown for Kent State, 53 yards for McCoy, who's looking to build off a career game a week ago.
Beautifully thrown ball and a blown coverage in the back end. There's no one in the middle of the field, and you see two safeties get hung up and caught up. There's supposed to be a middle of the field defender, not there. And boy, the golden flashes make them pay. Explosive play that led to a touchdown.
Play clock down to 5. And the kick is good, so Kent State with an answer. 50-plus yards, Crum to McCoy.
That game that you're running, baby, you've already won. I need to know what you like. 'Cause I'm gonna be it tonight. You can be cool, you can be shy. Say what you want, say what you like. 'Cause your body talks, your body talks. Your body talks.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Cigna. Together all the way.
Auburn has won 27 straight homecoming games. Homecoming this weekend. The theme, come home to the Plains. Kent State playing Auburn for the first time. That's Nick Saban's alma mater, and the Golden Flashes with a long touchdown pass from Crum to McCoy have closed to within 4 here in the second quarter.
Crum's hot, 10 of 14, 163 yards, a touchdown, and a 192 rating.
Short kick, it's bobbled. And Auburn able to cover it up. Extra Yard for Teachers Week is an annual celebration led by the College Football Playoff Foundation. It honors great teachers across the country. To learn more about Extra Yard for Teachers, follow at CFP Extra Yard or search the hashtag Extra Yard Week. Auburn has scored on 2 of its first 3 drives. Whitlow into Kent State territory, and he powers inside the 45, a gain of 17. Whitlow up to 80 yards rushing.
I like his decisiveness. When he gets to that second level and when he gets the ball in his hands, he's moving forward.
Tempo from Auburn. And Whitlow gobbled up. Cepeda Phillips, he's the leader of that defense with the stop.
He's got great instincts. He follows the football very well, and he likes to hunt. I mean, he's looking for action. He wants those one-on-one opportunities like he got there to finish plays.
Auburn today a little banged up in the receiving core. They haven't thrown it much, only 4 pass attempts. Joey Gatewood now comes into the game on second down. He's in at quarterback. 6'5" Gatewood will hand it off. And Cam Martin to about the 37. It's third down. Nick's back in there. Mentioned the injuries to the receiving group. Seth Williams, who had the game-winning catch against Oregon, is out with a shoulder injury. Shedrick Jackson also not available tonight. On the ground, and Whitlow torpedoes ahead for a first down. 6 more. He could get 100 here in the first half.
He's gaining confidence, and right now he's rolling. He's running behind those pads. He's running with authority and determination, and the coaching staff feels that, and they're committing to giving him touches. And as long as he can continue to pick up positive yardage like that, he's going to have a great night.
Play action. Nix wide open. Sal Cannella. He's to the 4-yard line. The black belt in karate.
We had to make a nimble move there as they go into their hurry up, but when you're running the football well, guess what you can do, Anish? play action pass. Great execution by the Tigers.
Nix, 4 out of 5. He'll keep. Bo Nix reaching, and he'll be a little short, marked down at the 1-yard line.
I like the decision, and we didn't see this the first 2 weeks. Bo Nix was a little more hesitant, and he was relying more on his running backs. Today he's made good decisions, and he's forcing his defense to defend his legs.
Nix keeps, angles in for 6. And there is a flag.
Might have been holding on the outside there. Signaling on Kent State.
Personal foul, face mask on the defense. That penalty, that 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. The result of the play is a touchdown.
Elvis Hines, the junior out of Camden, New Jersey, one of the cornerbacks flagged. Carlson on for the PAT.
You see that conversation there? Miles on. Talking to Nix. I mean, you still got to coach this young freshman. And he talked about that yesterday. He's still a freshman.
And we said it, this is a game for the offense to assert itself, to gain confidence, because the gauntlet begins in earnest next week. From Jordan-Hare Stadium, it's the SEC on ESPN. Alongside Ahmad Brooks and Chris Budden. And Anish Shroff, 8th-ranked Auburn leading Kent State 21-10. Because of the penalty on the last Auburn touchdown, the penalty was against Kent State. Auburn will kick off from the 50. Squib kick, fielded by Parker. And he's gobbled up at the 16.
Outstanding coverage there.
Kevin Connors. When we talked to Sean Lewis, Kent State's head coach, yesterday, he told us he talks to Dino Babers at Syracuse all the time. Lewis was an assistant on the Syracuse team that 2 years ago upset Clemson at the Carrier Dome. Xavier Williams, maybe a yard. And Sean Lewis joked with us that the joke he had with Dino Babers was, hey, you want to trade places? I'll take the other Tigers, you take these Tigers. Still no Derek Brown for Auburn. Came out of the game on the first drive, has not come back in. And Chris with an update on Brown after this play. Crum, pocket collapses, he escapes, flags down. From out of bounds at the 30. Chris with the injury update after the penalty.
Holding, number 54 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, second down.
Anish, Derek Brown is in the locker room being evaluated. Auburn would not specify what body part, but when I watched him after that first series, he was not favoring a body part. He looked winded and tired.
If you're Auburn, whatever it is, you hope it's short term, because as we mentioned many times tonight, Auburn has the toughest schedule in the country going forward. Crum chased, sacked, and they'll mark him down at the 1-yard line. Marlon Davidson and Truesdale both got in there, nearly a safety.
Truesdale, 3 plays, 2 plays he's made. And with the absence of Derek Brown, he's taken over. And this is just great rush here. Nice job of fighting through. I mean, he just powers through a double team to get there to the quarterback. Excellent effort there on the part of he and Davidson.
Now let's see if Auburn brings the pressure. It's a 4-man rush. Crum throws it downfield, dangerous pass. Nearly intercepted. There is a flag down. It looked like Davidson may have jumped.
Offside on the defense, number 3. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, 3rd down.
Davidson, a 4-year starter on that D-line, led the team last year in quarterback hurries, and he said this year he wants those QBHs to turn into sacks.
Absolutely, it's money. This time here, just trying to tee off on a 3rd and long situation. Defensive linemen, they love these types of situations because they lurk in their chops for getting quarterbacks. Now, Crum has been excellent tonight. He's the leading rusher. He's been excellent via the pass. He's kept him in this ball game. Can he do it again on a 3rd and long situation?
He'll throw, gets rid of it. It's a screen, going nowhere.
Well defended.
Roger McCreary led the charge.
Oh, that was just excellent. Fighting off the block. You've got to have determination, and you've got to have some toughness. When they throw that ball on that perimeter, if you're a cornerback, you're a safety, you're a nickelback, you've got to do this. You've got to shrug off that block, find the football. Your team is dependent on you. Great effort there as they get off on 3rd down.
Kent State converted its first 4 3rd down attempts. 0 for 4 since. Adams will punt from the back of his end zone. Everyone on the line for Auburn except Tutt. Now Auburn drops back. A chance for Tutt, but he'll let it bounce. And it takes a Kent State roll and downed at the 42-yard line, a 52-yard boot by Derek Adams.
It can seem unreachable at first. The bar too high, shoes too big. You'll take leaps of faith and fall on your face, but you'll get up. Hard work is 50 sprints before breakfast and another 50 for breakfast. You'll eat it, breathe it, sleep it. The Goodyear blimp doesn't show up for just anybody, so don't be just anybody. Be blimp-worthy. Goodyear, more driven.
Casey, we look forward to it. Here it's Auburn in control, 21-10. They've got the ball at their own 42-yard line. A little more than 5.5 to go in this 2nd quarter. Bo Nix hands it off. And Whitlow trying to get a push. The offensive line has been better tonight. The emphasis has been heavy run.
Well, this was the game plan. And you look at what they've been able to do up until that play. Had 107 yards on 1st down. 8.2 they were averaging. 9 rush attempts, 67 yards, 7.4. They're winning at the line of scrimmage and getting the big plays out of the run game.
Nix will throw, slings it to Will Hastings. And it's ruled a catch at the 40 now, ruled incomplete.
That's twice tonight that his pass catchers, both, they've let him down. And Will, he had an excellent game last week. He tried to catch that ball with his body. You've got to be able to catch it with your hands. He's a skilled wide receiver. I know he's coming back from injury, and they're still working on their chemistry, but that's a play you've got to make for your team.
Yeah, tore his ACL last year. He and Eli Stove both coming back from torn ACLs. Kent State showing blitz. Here it comes. Nix sacked. Just the 2nd time he's been sacked this season. And for Kent State and their defensive coordinator, Tom Kaufman, that's a feather in their hat. They did not have a pass rush last year. Big point of emphasis in 2019. They've been able to get to the quarterback in the first couple of games.
They rolled the dice. And Whitlow misses a block. And then your wide receivers don't convert into the hot routes, that's what you need. And if you're Kent State, that's a positive play there. And if you're this Auburn offense, you've got to go back to the drawing board and know we've got to keep this momentum going.
Mandela Lawrence Burke had the sack. The Australian Aaron Siposs to punt it away. And it'll be downed inside the 25. A reminder, next Saturday night on ABC, Oklahoma State visits number 12 Texas in Austin. Longhorns lost a heartbreaker at home last weekend against LSU. How about LSU, Georgia, Alabama, all in the top 4 in the AP poll? And oh, by the way, Auburn plays all 3 of them.
Yeah, and you also have Florida, Auburn, and of course A&M ranked. And I think those 3 teams, LSU, Alabama, and of course Georgia, I think they are elite teams. I think the verdict is still out on Auburn, on A&M, and of course on Florida. Can they also move up into that mix and be a team that is feared throughout the nation?
And Mississippi State stock fell today, a home loss to Kansas State. Down goes Crum. Davidson and Truesdale team up for the sack again.
They're staying at home. They're running, they're rushing lanes. They're doing what a veteran defense would do, and they're doing it minus their best, one of their best defensive players in Derek Brown.
Seeing a lot of Daquan Newkirk, number 44, on that Auburn defensive line. Crum to throw. Looking downfield, incomplete. Wanted McCoy. He was blanketed by Igbenogany.
It's great coverage. He was on that high hip. There was nowhere for him to throw it. Violent at the point of attack to break this play up. Watch this ISO here. Gets his hands on him. Nice job of flipping those hips. That's outstanding coverage.
Secondary has been an underrated part of Auburn's early success on defense. Four-man rush. Crum scrambling and slides down. Brought down from behind by Owen Popo, the highly regarded freshman. It's 4th down. About 1.5 yards to go. And here comes the punt team.
He almost picked it up. At the end of that play, he took a shot. That was a designed quarterback run, and I said it earlier, he's leading their team right now in rushing. Crum's doing it all.
11 of 16 passing for $162. 28 yards on the ground. Adams to punt it to Tutt. Good kick by Adams. And Tutt retreats inside his own 20 where he makes the fair catch. Derek Adams a few times tonight has done a nice job to flip the field.
Indeed.
Tonight, ESPNplus.com/top rank. Tyson Fury against the big Swede, Otto Wallin. Fury defends his lineal title on ESPN Plus in English and Spanish, 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific from T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. Fury's a big favorite, but remember Anthony Joshua, big favorite, KO'd by Anthony Ruiz not too long ago. There's Cam Martin on 1st down for a short pickup. 23 rush attempts in the first half for Auburn to 6 passing attempts.
They've got to get something going, and they've got to gain confidence in their ability to run the football. They've committed to it. That was the game plan headed in.
Auburn has averaged 8 yards per rush. They have a timeout.
Now you can get into your 2-minute offense, put the ball in the hands of Bo Nix and see if he can get you some points here headed into half.
They didn't seem to be in any hurry. And now Martin picks up the 1st down. That'll momentarily stop the clock until the ball is spotted.
It's a nice run.
Now Auburn into its 2-minute drill. Stove. Out of bounds. That'll stop the clock. 1:37. Second down.
And that ball could have been thrown in more rhythm. And that was a very acrobatic catch, and it shouldn't be. And that allows Stove to be able to pick up more yardage.
Third catch for Stove. Malik Miller checking into the game at running back. Nix throws. Stove again. And he's able to get out of bounds at the 45. That stops the clock with 1:30. It's a first down for Auburn.
I like the play call there. You put the run pass option in, you put the pressure on the defense, and you put the ball in the hands of your quarterback. Nice throw.
Nix, clean pocket, downfield, looking for Stove, and he overthrew him. Good coverage, too, by Parker.
The pocket mobility and awareness here was outstanding. What you would like to see him do, set those feet and make this a money throw. This is an explosive play, touchdown waiting to happen. And he missed a few of these last week. Will Hastings, Schwartz, where they had beat coverage. That's a clean pocket. There is no need for you to rush that throw and misfire. You've got to connect.
Auburn gets the ball to begin the second half. So a touchdown here, and then you're looking at a chance to put the game away. Shivers in space, breaking a tackle, lowers the shoulder, a first down at the 40. And that'll momentarily stop the clock with 1:14 to go in the half.
He's small, but he's mean now. I mean, he's well built as they continue to press the gas.
Clock starts on the official signal. Timeout Kent State. They still have 2 left. This is a big defensive sequence for the Golden Flashes. They've hung in this game. They've absorbed some haymakers from Auburn. And Sean Lewis has got to be thinking, hey, we're right there, 11-point game. If you get a stop here, even if you hold Auburn to a field goal, still a 2-score game going into the locker room.
Totally right. And this gives you confidence. And you can go into the locker room if you're Coach Lewis and say, you know what, guys? We deserve to be here. We belong here. And if you're Auburn, when do you press the gas? When do you show this team that you're capable of scoring the points that you need? And this is where, as a young quarterback, we saw him do it in a clutch performance versus Oregon. And I thought he did it in the second half of the Tulane game last week. He's got to take command, and this is where you start to really show just how talented you are by making your plays and forcing the playmakers around you to do the exact same thing.
And in this situation against Tulane a week ago, Nix missed some throws.
He sure did.
Doesn't miss this time. J.J. Wilson. Clock will continue to run. We come up on a minute to play. Ball at the 30. Second and a yard. Malik Miller up the gut. First down. He's to the 25. Auburn still has that one timeout. Clock again stopped until the referee signals.
I like the rhythm right now this offense is showing.
Here's the pressure. Caught. J.J. Wilson again. Ball is out. And it's out of bounds. It's ruled a catch. And Auburn will have it where the ball was fumbled at the 18-yard line.
That was a nice catch. Wilson there, the ball was thrown outside. It kind of came up on him quickly.
Clock continues to run. The blitz again, picked up. Nix has time. End zone, missed a wide open Wilson.
Oh, man. And this is, it almost feels like deja vu, because the exact same thing happened in Tulane. When your coaches call the right play, and what I've noticed is you see that padding in the movement. Oftentimes, if you're a quarterback, you want to keep your feet set in the ground so you can always make that money throw. And that's something that when we were talking to the offensive staff last week, they said he's used to playing in this air raid offense where that's what you do. But in this offense, you've got to take drops. And it's more about your footwork as the Golden Flashes call a timeout. And that was one of the things we discussed. We asked him if there's anywhere for this young guy to improve and to take the next step. It's to clean up those mistakes.
Timeout by Kent State on a crucial 3rd and 4 late in this first half with Auburn on the move. And you brought it up. We went through the film yesterday. The happy feet. Sometimes in high school where Bo Nix was a star, you can get away with that. Not as easy to do at this level. What the coaches did tell us, he learns the game at such a high aptitude.
Yeah.
And his football IQ is off the charts. Yeah, he's missing on some of these throws right now. But we went back and we watched the film. There's also instances he's doing it right. So the fundamentals are there.
Well, he sees the field like a veteran. Now you've got to connect those dots and be able to make, you know, an SEC-type throw and connect there.
From the 18. Nix on 3rd down, dropped the ball, and down he goes. Zepeda Phillips got to him. There is a flag. Was there a face mask? This is a big call.
There is no foul for a face mask. The defender did not grab and twist the face mask. 4th down.
So now
the clock will
4th
start
down.
on my signal.
Auburn still has a timeout, but they'll have to settle for a field goal.
Oh, man. You see that there, the mesh point there. You see, as Nix was trying to come off with the fake, he fumbled the ball, and that's what prevented him from getting into it. Crowd here wanting a call. That's what you'd expect from the Tiger faithful.
45-yard attempt for Anders Carlson. And they'll let the clock run down and take a timeout with 3 seconds. So Auburn out of timeouts. Kent State still has one if they choose to freeze the kicker.
Listen, with the way that the SEC has now morphed into a league where quarterback play is premium, where you're scoring points, and, you know, let's just face it, that team down the road, you can't miss opportunities to punch one in the end zone. You've got to complete those plays because it's going to come down to the defenses that stop you inside of the red zone, prevent you from getting those touchdowns. And if you're Auburn, that's not the feeling that you want going into half. After coming off to a red-hot start, they were getting everything on the ground, taking what they wanted, and now you're moving the ball down. And, you know, once again, that mesh point there, you know, that's something you've got to clean up. And
now that appeared to be a face mask.
yeah, but if you don't mess up there on the mesh point, maybe you make a play. And if you're Auburn, you've got to own that.
45-yard attempt for Carlson. Another flag is down. The kick is good. Auburn's running into the locker room.
Okay. The result of the play, the field goal is good. Running into the kicker on the defense, the penalty is declined. That is the end of the first half.
Auburn ran for 200+ yards on the ground in the opening 30 minutes. Kent State, though, holding the Tigers to a field goal to stay within striking distance. After the break, Kevin Connors and the guys will catch you up on all of the action around the gridiron today.
Coach, you said the goal was to get more production early on out of your offense. What have you seen from them in the first half?
From Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama, this is the SEC on ESPN. The Tigers a 2-touchdown lead on Kent State as we begin the third quarter. Anish Shroff, Ahmad Brooks, Chris Budden down on the sidelines. Auburn will receive the second half kickoff. Igbenogany and Whitlow back deep for the Tigers. And a trick it to kick off for Kent State. squib kick. And Auburn takes it to about the 33. Chris Budden caught up with Gus Malzahn a little while ago.
Coach, you said the goal was to get more production early on out of your offense. What have you seen from them in the first half?
Well, we got to run the football. We've been able to do that. When we've been able to get some rhythm running the football, that's helped with our pass game. But we got to put the ball in the end zone.
Kent State has proved they can move the football. What do you need defensively if Derek Brown's not able to come back in the second half?
Well, we got a lot of other good players. We'll make adjustments, and I really expect us to play well in the second half.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Boobie Whitlow turns upfield, and he's over 100 yards rushing on the evening. Gus Malzahn spoke this week about wanting to be more productive on first down. In the first half, Auburn averaged 7 yards a play on first down. Malzahn was only looking for about 4. Eli Stove with his 5th catch of the game, and he's into Kent State territory. Already, Auburn with a good-looking drive to begin this third quarter.
When you're having success on first down, those quick screens are also considered a part of your rushing attack, and it opens the perimeter up.
Whitlow up the gut, and hammerheads across the 35. Another big gain, so they've had 10-plus yards on 3 successive first downs to begin the third. Injured player is the safety, Akeem Peters. The senior had a forced fumble and 8 tackles in the season opener at Arizona State. He's being attended to. We step aside.
Telluride. Built to make each trip a story. Tales worthy of becoming fine, leather-bound books. And because of the available 6 built-in USB charging ports, none of those books will begin. Chapter 1. Today, our phones all died.
Auburn on the move early in the third quarter. At the top of the broadcast, we talked about Auburn flashing a championship caliber defense through the first couple of games in Ashraf Ahmad Brooks. The question is the offense. How much better can that group get while the schedule is about to heat up? What have you seen today from the offense?
The rushing attack, it's clicking. The offensive line is pushing people back. There's holes wide enough for trucks to drive through them, and the running backs are making people miss. The one thing that I'll say, in order for them to continue to score points, you heard Gus tell our own Chris Budden, here's the thing. You still have to be able to connect and score those points and do not miss opportunities. But this ground game right now, even in this drive, is off and running.
Whitlow makes the first man miss, trying to work out of an ambush and able to get back to the line of scrimmage. Nix looking to throw. Now he'll run. And taken down. Good pursuit by Phillips. 3rd and long for Auburn.
That was a good decision. And in talking to the staff yesterday, they were very adamant. They said you can look at his completion percentage, but he's thrown the ball 15 times. He's thrown the ball away 15 times. Something that a young player normally doesn't do. A play like that, he swallowed that because it was well defended by the Golden Flashes on the outside edge, and there was nowhere for him to throw that football.
Nix standing in the pocket. Completes near side. Anthony Schwartz, first catch of the season for the speedster out of Florida.
And he's got a cast on his hand. Still managing to catch the football. Great throw from Nix.
Schwartz had offseason hand surgery, limited early. And now Whitlow pushes forward to the 15-yard line, a gain of about 5.
And Gus is really mixing up the tempo right now, and then the check with me plays. You saw him earlier. They went back into that tempo They hold it up, check with me plays. What does that do? It allows Gus to see what the defense is doing and now call the play that he feels will work.
Whitlow, up the middle, open sesame, touchdown, Auburn.
And this is just great execution up front. Once again, great read there from Nix. That's what started it. But Whitlow, he's in rhythm right now. He's running downhill. He's making people miss. He's running with great confidence. This is the best we've seen him look all season long.
He probably got a stern talking to from his mama.
I'd say.
Mom made him do 50 push-ups after he fumbled once in a game last year. He fumbled 3 times last week. He's come out on fire tonight. Jimmy Milton. The Southeast Raptor Center has become a rehabilitation hub. They have 23 permanent residents, 4 are Eagles, 2 bald and 2 golden. The War Eagle, one of the great pregame traditions in all of college football, nailed the landing today.
You just forget how massive those Predators are.
Jay Billis somewhere is marveling at the wingspan.
No doubt.
We told you about Boobie Whitlow and the push-ups before we went to break. The Auburn running back last year fumbled in the home opener against Alabama State, so his mom said, okay, get down and give me 50. Now, we tried to get an update as to what happened this past week, but we're unable to. Whitlow fumbled 3 times last week against Tulane. I'm going to go ahead and say Mom made him do more than 50 push-ups this past week.
Here goes a pregame hug, but there is nothing worse than having your mom give you an earful after something she's not proud of.
Dustin Crum, that one skips on his intended target, 2nd down.
Yeah, look at this hug here. They're like, Ma, come on. I've done push-ups all week. I'm good, all right? Yeah, I love that relationship, though, and this is really what college football is all about. I love their relationship, and tonight he's come out here and he's run like he's running for his mama.
135 yards, a couple of rushing touchdowns. Although he did drop one. Had a dropped catch, and Mom may get him for that one.
I would assume.
McCoy, it brings up 3rd down. Chris, still no Derek Brown on the field for Auburn.
No, he is out for the day. He's standing down here in street clothes, and I'm only about 10 feet from him. He has no brace on. He doesn't seem to be in pain again. He was just winded after that first series.
1st down completion on the far side. Big Ben Agony pushes Dixon out of bounds. Kent State on 3rd down today, 5 for 10. And a nice pickup on 1st down here.
Yeah, Crum is, this young man, I think he's got some talent. And he's made some throws today. He's put them in small passing windows, and he's commanded this offense.
Only his 4th career start. Got the nod right before kickoff last week against Kennesaw State, and he is submerged and subdued in the backfield. Big Cat Bryant, the first to get there.
He's had a great game today, and he's applied pressure. And as a defensive coordinator, Kevin Steele said it. He said so many times people put emphasis on sacks, but it's those quarterback hurries and getting to the quarterback and changing his throwing motion. This time here, 4-man rush, and they just cave in the pocket. Now you've got a 3rd and long situation where you're able to really heat the pocket up, or you keep things in front of you and force this quarterback to find a small and tiny window to connect on.
4-man rush. Crum setting up the screen. And reaching for the first down marker, Joel Shaw, the senior out of Pittsburgh, perhaps by way of Krypton, but he picks up the first down.
And they're picking up chunk yardage on those screens. Great execution.
Flag on the play. Auburn may have had too many on the field. They've had some issues subbing out against this Kent State tempo tonight.
It's so difficult, Anish. It really is. Because you got to sub out your big guys. And it takes them forever to get off the field. And so if you're Kent, that's the game plan. You want to rush them in and out, and especially when you're to your boundary, right? They've got a longer distance to go. And they've really used that to their advantage tonight.
And if the offense doesn't substitute.
Illegal substitution on the defense. Penalty is 5 yards from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
If the offense doesn't substitute, you don't have to give the defense time to sub. Now, if the offense substitutes, then the defense has time to counter with a substitution and get set. But if the offense leaves its personnel, you're trying to change on the fly. Nothing stops the offense from calling a play. Nick Coe, number 91 on the D-line. He spends some time there today. We've seen him at linebacker and D-end as well. Shaw bounces off one defender, gets the edge, and shoved out by Igbenogany. 2nd and 1.
There's a player there on the field. It's 54, Nate Warnock.
He's the starting center who left last week's game with a leg injury. And he's being helped off. Remember, Jamil Vio, the starting left tackle, did not start for Kent State after getting banged up a week ago as well.
NFL Prime Time is back on Sunday nights, airing exclusively on ESPN Plus at 7:30 p.m. Eastern all season long.
Oh, we can't wait. Boomer, TJ, and that music bringing us back. Nate Warnock has left the game. And now Kent State down at starting left tackle and starting center. They'll throw here on 2nd and short, incomplete. And it brings up 3rd down intended for Shaw. Jack Clement in at center. Sam Allen has been playing at left tackle today. Now Auburn without Derek Brown on its defensive line. He has not come into the game after leaving in the first quarter. A first down run by Joel Shaw. 93 yards a week ago. He was the team's leading rusher last year. Hasn't had a ton of room today. 6 carries, 9 yards.
Kent State is really giving Auburn some trouble when they get into this hurry-up offense. You've seen several times today where the defense hasn't been set, and they've made them pay.
Crum under pressure, gets away, and picks up a first down with his legs.
If there's any question about why Woody Barrett has been on the sideline, I mean, this guy has played as well as you can in this type of environment.
High snap. Crum rolling right, chased by Big Cat Bryant, and wisely throws it away.
Yeah, he's made really wise decisions, and he's been able to connect. I think even his decision-making in terms of operating back there from the read option and run-pass option plays has been spectacular. And he's the reason why they're moving this ball downfield. He's got great command over this offense. And today he's played like a mature quarterback, determined.
Here's the pre-snap eye candy that we've seen from Kent State all evening.
Yeah, and not one Auburn Tiger moved.
Crum under pressure, sacked by Davidson. 5 sacks now for this Auburn defense without Derek Brown.
They haven't heated up the pocket like Kevin Steele is known for, but when you've got 4 talented players, and really they go deeper than that here at Auburn, you're able to win your one-on-one matchups. And when you go one-on-one with this defensive line, you've got to think about what that means for your quarterback.
And right now, Kent State depleted up front. Here's the pressure. Crum gets rid of it. The receiver fell down, incomplete. And McCoy finally gets up. It's 4th down now. Ball on the 23-yard line. Crum looking to the sideline. And the kicking team comes on.
Yeah, Kevin still just lulled him to sleep, you know. He's dropping 7, rushing 4, dropping 7, rushing 4, and then he brings the house. And that's one of those things as a quarterback, you've got to make a split decision, and that's what Lewis is talking to about his quarterback. You've got to identify that, get into the right play. And if you're Auburn, you've got to complete that play on the back end. You've got to be able to seal that interception and take away points.
Now that might have been the first blitz we've seen. Trickett's kick. No good from 39. Now Kent State not going away, but needed to capitalize on that drive, especially on the road, down 3 scores. Now this is a team that will be battle-tested once it gets into conference play in the MAC. They play 3 Power 5s at Arizona State, at Auburn, at Wisconsin. And for a program that doesn't have a ton of history, only 3 winning seasons since 1978, listen, the financial benefit of these games is significant. They're getting $4.5 million from playing those 3 Power 5 teams. As Cam Martin gets the call here on 1st down.
But you are taking a risk physically, because what happens is you're playing against some grown men, and the level of play, you've really got to test your team's toughness. You know, can they handle the beating, the pounding that comes along with playing against these aggressive and physical teams?
Joey Gatewood into the game at quarterback. Bo Nix split wide. Gatewood, quarterback run. It sets up 3rd and short. Kevin Connors, what do you have? Malik Miller picks up the 1st down for Auburn. So Kentucky looking to make it 2 straight over Florida after losing about 9,000 in a row. LSU, Northwestern State, that screams hangover game, doesn't it?
Well, number one, they suffered some injuries coming out of that Texas game last week. And then, you know, Florida, that's what I said. The question is still, who are they? And I think teams like Auburn, A&M, and you got to throw Florida in that mix. They're still trying to find their identity at this point in the season.
Martin has a big touchdown run in this game and barrels across midfield. A 1st down run for Cam Martin, the senior. Auburn content to take a little more time on this drive. Nix to Martin, flea flicker, back to Nix, Stove wide open, touchdown Tigers!
Here's what they saw. These safeties are coming downhill. Watch how they commit themselves to the run. They forget about the pass. And if you're Kenny Dillingham sitting up top, what you're watching for is what's our next play? How do we set it up? Excellent play call there. The execution was great, and that's the best deep ball I've seen Bo Nix throw perhaps this entire season. It was on the money, in stride for the touchdown.
PAT by Anders Carlson is good. The Book of Eli, coming off a torn ACL, 6 catches, 88 yards. That one goes 49 yards to Pater.
Telluride, built to make each trip a story. Tales worthy of becoming fine, leather-bound books. And because of the available 6 built-in USB charging ports, none of those books will begin. Chapter 1. Today, our phones all died.
A full moon tonight after a Friday the 13th yesterday. Auburn 38-10 on top of Nick Saban's alma mater, Kent State. AP rankings brought to you by PlayStation. Clemson leading Syracuse 17-3. They lost in their last trip to the Carrier Dome. Alabama saw South Carolina hanging around. South Carolina could not convert on 4th and goal late in the first half, and Alabama put it away. What I saw in the Georgia-Arkansas State game, with the Georgia fans all clad in pink for Wendy Anderson, the late wife
special
of Red Wolves head coach Blake Anderson, that was the best moment of the college football season. And I think it's going to be the best moment of the college football season. Showed our best side as human beings. Didn't matter it was a visiting team. If you don't know the story, David Hale wrote a great piece on ESPN.com. Keep the Kleenex nearby. Blake Anderson lost his wife after a long battle with cancer not too long ago, returned to coach the team, and he was touched by the gesture from the Georgia fans. I just thought, you know, with all the negativity sometimes in our world and even in sports and social media, that was just refreshing and heartwarming to see a group of people rallying around somebody that they didn't know, but because they cared.
Well said.
Woody Barrett, the Auburn transfer, in at quarterback for Kent State. Gus Malzahn said this week that he was a joy to coach when he was here. We root for him in all but this one. Barrett spent a redshirt season on the Plains, then went to junior college and came to Kent State last year with 3 years of eligibility. He'll keep on the zone read, and Barrett has some room to run. And that's got to feel good for that young man who wants to make a nice impression in his return to Auburn tonight.
This is his strength, and the way he rode that back inside of that inside run was excellent, and it forced the defense to not know where the football was going, and he popped out.
Barrett to the air, heaves it downfield, nearly intercepted. Roger McCreary got his mitts on it.
Just wish you had those back if you're a defensive back. A nice job here of closing down this angle. He goes up, he turns into the wide receiver, attacking the football. Like to see him there if you're Auburn, haul that ball in.
Pitches to Williams. Tripped up by Chandler Wooten in the backfield, a 3rd down.
One thing that you noticed early on in the ball game was this Auburn team coming into this game, they had 15 missed tackles on the year. We talked to Kevin Still and we asked him, you know, you've been doing this a long time. How often have you seen it? He said it's rare. But tonight they came out and they struggled in open space. That time there, the defense was excellent in tackling, bringing the ball carrier down, and preventing that play from getting extra yardage.
Barrett escaping and throws it away. He told the media that he still has a lot of friends on this team, still talks to a lot of guys from Auburn. 4th down now for Kent State. And Woody Barrett was a big-time prospect coming out of high school. In fact, he was ranked ahead of quarterbacks like Khalil Tate, Jalen Hurts, Tyler Huntley over at Utah. Utes are undefeated. Adams to punt. Flag is down. And this bounces into the end zone.
You wonder at one point, do you pull Nix out of this ball game and give Gatewood some opportunities?
illegal formation on the kicking team, numbering exception foul. 5-yard penalty will be added to the touchback spot. First down.
So Auburn ball at the 25-yard line. Let's check in with Kevin. That certainly changes the perception of the SEC East once you get behind Georgia. Shivers with a nice run on first down, give him 6. Georgia's certainly the team to beat in the East. Florida didn't look great in that season opening win against Miami, and certainly a loss to Kentucky would drop them down another notch. Shivers, a lot of dancing, and then he's devoured for a loss.
Yeah, you brought it up. You know, that second cut, that needs to be upfield. And this time there, he's trying to get the ball outside and just stay on your course. You never know when you can pop that thing through. Now you put your team in a third down situation. And one thing I evaluated while watching, in this distance, Bo Nix is 0 of 7 in passing the football here, and he hasn't had one conversion throwing the football. The reality of it is this is where, as a quarterback, these are your money downs, your clutch downs. You make a play for your team. Excellent throw.
Hastings with the first down. Will Hastings, a senior from Little Rock with a name that evokes the echoes of history. William the Conqueror in 1066 led the Norman invasion of England. William's forces won their greatest battle at Hastings.
Oh, come on, man. Your brain's too big for me, dude. Come on. You kidding me right now?
We connect dots where there are no dots to be connected. Shivers up the gut to the 50. Chris?
I'm not adding on to your history knowledge, but we've seen Bo Nix go and talk to Gus Malzahn after each series, and Gus has told us, I'm still learning him, I'm still learning what he sees and trying to be really patient with him. Well, Bo actually reached out to a former Auburn quarterback this week to get some advice from Cam Newton. The two know each other previously because Cam coached his 7-on-7 team.
That's great. I love when players that are historic at a program are sharing knowledge with the next generation. Kudos to Cam, and kudos to him for listening and being willing to accept.
They'll keep it on the ground. This is Shivers in space where he's so dangerous, and he takes it for a gain of 27.
They like him, and the one thing about a guy with his frame, listen, I played safety at the University of Texas. He's 5'7", 180 pounds. Do you know how hard it is to spot this guy? It's like, where is Waldo? He gets behind those big uglies, and next thing you know, he pops out on you. It's very difficult, and he's got a skill set that could really help this team down the road, provide a different option for them when it comes to running the football.
We saw him at practice, and you looked at me and you said, Darren Sproles.
Yeah, I said, if you're going to be that size, that's what you got to look like to play at this level.
Not much there. Yeah, and if you've seen his quads, he doesn't get cheated on the leg press.
No doubt. No doubt. And then they even complimented him on his interior run game. And, that's a compliment. And being a smaller guy myself playing at this level, what happens is you don't ever want to be the guy that's criticized for your size and it's saying you can't do this because of your statue. And here's the thing. This guy is a ball player. You can tell he's out to prove people wrong. And he's found a rhythm here in this drive.
On the ground once more. And it'll bring up a third down.
The best thing I like about this is the pace in which this offense has controlled the second half. They've done what they've wanted to. They started out with the tempo, and now they've turned it into, hey, we're in control. We're driving this bus. This is our game. This is our house. And this is what you wanted to see if you're Gus Malzahn.
Joey Gatewood into the game. Auburn still has to call a play here in the third. Martin motions. Gatewood keeps. And tripped up in the backfield. Nice play that time by Mandela Lawrence Burke, who played wide receiver a season ago. Did start at free safety 2 years ago. It'll be 4th down Auburn when the 4th quarter begins.
That game that you're running, baby, you've already won. I need to know what do you like? 'Cause I'm gonna be it tonight. You can be cool, you can be shy. Say what you want, say what you like. 'Cause your body talks, your body talks. Your body talks.
4th and 6 Auburn to begin the 4th quarter. You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Homecoming weekend here on the Plains, and the Tigers looking to make it 28 straight wins on homecoming. Anders Carlson will attempt a field goal, 37-yarder. This would make it a 31-point game, a margin that is of significance to some.
Had a clutch kick headed into halftime after the offense was unable to score points. Can he do it again?
Carlson makes the field goal, and it's 41-10. Gus Malzahn in his 7th season as Auburn's head coach. That's the 2nd longest tenured head coach in the SEC. With all due respect to Kentucky and Vandy, Stoops and Mason have had some time there. Expectations are not the same in football in Nashville and Lexington as they are in Auburn. And there was a lot of hot seat chatter for Malzahn at the end of last year. It carried over into this year. They had the nice bowl win. The opening win against Oregon muted some of that conversation, but what Auburn is up against, they're Marlowe in the age of Shakespeare. They've got the nicest house in the neighborhood in most neighborhoods. But in their neighborhood, their next door neighbor has the nicest house. And so success, at least locally, is viewed through that prism. And you played at Texas. You had a lot of regional rivals or schools that felt you were their regional rival. You can speak to some of that.
Well, number one, everybody's chasing Alabama. Okay, let's just say that. Number two, it's when they're next door to you, that's when it becomes difficult because you see the signs and you know exactly what they're doing down there.
Been a pretty good 10-year run. Played in 2 championships, won 1. Heisman winner, New Year's Six Bowl 2 of the last 3 years. That's not bad, Kevin Connors. Ah, boy, you hate to see that.
Yeah. Worst part about collegiate athletics, for sure.
First down carry by Joshine Bangda. And he may have some fans in this crowd because Bangda chose Kent State over an offer from Nick Saban and Alabama. He's the biggest recruit of the Sean Lewis era. Actually was committed at one point to Georgia Tech, then opened it up, had offers from everybody, including Bama, but chose to be a part of Kent State. Cavius Price, close to a first down. Price has had some issues with ball security, as has Kent State up until tonight.
And that was a defensive end that tracked him down, Derek Hall. I mean, shoestring tackle, nonetheless, it worked.
True freshman defensive end. Now, there is depth there as Kent State picks up the first down. Bangda again.
And you were obviously talking about the Iron Bowl and what it means. You know, with them having a great defensive line, they've got a shot. And you go back and look at it. The teams with the best defensive line, that's an incomplete pass off the wide receiver's hands. The teams with the best defensive line normally fare better in that game. And Alabama's been on a run, but I think headed into the Iron Bowl, you'd be hard pressed to find another 4, 5, 6 guys that Auburn can roll out and you can match them throughout the country.
The topic this week will be, how healthy is Derek Brown? Is it serious? Is it not serious? He left the game after the first drive and has not returned, and we have not been told what the injury is or the extent of it. Or even if it is an injury, as we get a flag. Might be roughing the passer.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 45 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Caleb Johnson, a redshirt freshman out of Columbus, Georgia.
And these are the reps and the minutes that you need. That's a great job of getting through there. And that's an unfortunate play. He was already committed to trying to make a play, and he falls right into Barrett's legs. And here's the thing. Gus said it. He said, we haven't really gotten an opportunity to really get our other guys out there yet, but this is how you build depth. You know that if you're going to make it through the gauntlet of the SEC, you have to make sure that you've got guys that can step up and maintain a level of play.
Barrett rolling right. Laser, and he completes to Antoine Dixon. Chris Budden told you about Dixon earlier, the young man who had a rare blood disorder, missed 2 years, saw his weight drop all the way down to 125 pounds, and ended up getting a bone marrow transplant, and the bone marrow donor was his father. Barrett over the middle, incomplete, knocked down by Gary Walker. I look at the next 3 games for Auburn in some ways as the season. We talked about Gus Malzahn and what's at stake for him here in 2019. A&M, Mississippi State, and Florida with trips to College Station in Gainesville. Barrett chased, tries to check down, and we get a flag at the end of the play. Smoke Monday with a big hit.
It's targeting. Yeah, you'll have to go and review this one, but
Personal foul, targeting, number 21 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down. The previous play is under further review.
So with the new rules this year, targeting can be overturned by the booth, and you need conclusive evidence that that was targeting. But Ahmad, I'm looking at this, and he leads with the crown of his helmet. That's automatic targeting.
As much as I love the fact that player safety is a premium, these are tough plays. You got a 6-foot defender taking on a smaller guy.
Forcible contact, leading with the crown of the helmet. Monday will likely be ejected. Replay must confirm targeting for the penalty and the ejection to stand in 2019. And this is textbook targeting, forcible contact above the neck and shoulders, crown of the helmet, coming from a launch. Smoke Monday ejected, and he will have to sit out the first half of the Texas A&M game.
I get the rule of law, but let me tell you something. I've tackled at this level. If you aren't necessarily attacking a player, and when you say forcible, everything you do on defense is forcible. That's the only way you'll prevent yourself from not getting knocked back. That was not a malicious hit. In my opinion, as this ball, as Barrett throws it over his target's head, this rule needs to be revisited. And listen, I know what you're trying to do, but in a situation like that, you've got a taller defender. He got about as low as he can get to tackle somebody. He runs through him. He did exactly what he's been coached to do. And you say he led with the crown of his helmet. In order to push people back, you can't lead with your knees. You can't lead with your chest and your stomach. You've got to be able to push people back and play forcibly, and that shouldn't be a penalty.
I get what you're saying. The letter of the law, though, when it comes to crown of the helmet, if you make forcible contact with the crown of the helmet, which that was, nothing else matters. That's an automatic targeting penalty.
You say that, but if that guy's 6 foot, guess what happens? He's hitting them right in the midsection. And that's the difference.
It's not a perfect rule.
For me, that is where I struggle with the letter of the law, having tackled at this level. Because the reality of it is, it's hard to tackle. It's one of the hardest things in football to do, and especially in space versus a smaller guy like that situation.
I'll come back to that after this play. Barrett pumps. End zone. Touchdown, Cavius Price. And that's got to feel good for Woody Barrett. Touchdown pass in his return to Auburn, where his career started.
Small bit of redemption, and it's a good ball. And they get into their RPO game. He recognizes that the linebackers have caved in. It's an open middle of the field. Puts the ball on the money for a touchdown. And that is a good feeling, because that was a good drive.
To finish the targeting thought, what I did like is before, if it was iffy and they went upstairs to look at it, as Kent State will attempt a two-point conversion. And it is taken away by Auburn, so the conversion fails. What I'm trying to say is, now that the replay booth has to confirm targeting, it can no longer stand. I think that gives the players a little more leeway than before.
Agreed.
Game that you're running, baby, you've already won. I need to know what do you like, 'cause I'm gonna be it tonight. You can be cool, you can be shy, say what you want, say what you like, 'cause your body talks, your body talks, your body talks.
56-yarder, no, does not have the leg. He'll run it out to the 10, 15. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight.
That kick six call, an iconic call in college football, and Rod Bramlett was the soundtrack for Auburn football for a long time, and he and his wife Paula were killed in a car crash in late May. A tragedy that affected this entire Auburn community. He is missed here. Andy Burcham is now the play-by-play announcer for Auburn Radio. And Chris, the connection that the Burchams have to the Bramletts and their children is pretty significant, and there's a lot more to this story in the aftermath.
Yeah, I spoke with Andy this week of what it means to get this job, and he said, there's such mixed emotions that I'm trying to process. This has always been my dream job, to be the voice of the Tigers. But in order of getting that, I lost my best friend in the process. So he's trying to figure out how to merge those two emotions. Along with that, he's also the guardian of Shelly and Rod's two kids.
Number 8, Sean Shivers on the carry.
So it was a year ago that Rod and Paula had asked Andy and his wife, if anything were to happen to us, would you watch our two kids? They thought about it, and Andy and his wife didn't have any kids, and they said, certainly, we would love to. It wasn't until a week before the accident that Rod redid his will. So Shelby, the oldest daughter, is a student at Auburn. Joshua, currently a 10th grader, is living with the Burchams, and he says that Joshua and Shelby are both doing great. Joshua has just voted class president, and it's really been an honor to be able to watch over their kids.
And that's great to hear, and our thoughts certainly go out to the family involved, the Bramletts, and it is admirable what Andy has done, and he and his wife taking in Joshua. Shelby, as Chris said, is a junior at Auburn, no longer under the purview of guardianship. Gatewood, quarterback keeper. And a first down for Auburn, a pickup of 13.
You're not supposed to move like that at 6'5". It's unfair. I mean, and this is what makes this kid so dynamic. And this battle was difficult headed in to fall camp. And, you know, he's got a skill set that's unique. I think he can still add a ton of value to this offense. And Gus said, every week we come in with a package that is designed for Gatewood to make plays, and you never know when you're going to need this young man's ability to run the football down the stretch. And that backup quarterback role is as important as any role on the football team.
Gatewood fakes the throw. Hurdles a defender, tripped up inside the 10. First and goal for Auburn. Gus Malzahn told us Joey Gatewood, a redshirt freshman, is going to have a role in every game this season. You can see why.
Electric.
This was a top 40 prospect coming out of high school. Number 3 dual threat quarterback in his class.
And we had to go out to practice on Thursday. I just had to size this kid up, and he's every bit of the size they list him as.
Shivers up the gut. And a lot of what was called for Cam, they're repurposing that for Joey Gatewood. Again, they're not the same player. I don't want to make that comparison, but the play on the right still works for the guy on the left.
And that's flattering. And you also have to keep in mind, too, that, right, those were players that Cam had a lot more experience. This kid is still just learning just how good he can be at this level.
Shivers. A yard, 3rd and goal.
You know, it's flattering when you play at a program like this where you have so many legends, you know, college football legends. When you're compared to one, I've always thought that it's an honor. But the only way that you're, you know, at a program like this, you're not going to be able to be the best ever. You just join the greats. And playing at Texas, I remember what that was like. So you have to stay humble. You have to work hard and stay focused. And do not listen to the outside noise.
Gatewood will keep. Has an angle and has an Auburn touchdown.
He took control of this drive with his feet. And, I mean, there was no question. He didn't even think about handing that football off. He was determined to get in the end zone. He's a specimen. You know, and as this young man continues to develop, what you hope that happens between he and Bo Nix is that they form a relationship where competition makes this entire team better.
Auburn rolling, and they have rolled up almost 400 yards on the ground tonight. Land of the Tiger, the Lion was king just a few moments ago. Simba Cam, and everybody was hoisting up either the person next to them or their loved ones.
I love it.
After week 1, the Oregon win, when Bo Nix, the freshman, had that great moment down the stretch, it was as if he had earned Simba-like status in these parts.
Very good analogy.
Sage Ledbetter will kick it off. And the lefty will send it into the end zone. Kent State ball at the 25. This season, for every field goal and PAT made by participating universities, All-State will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, All-State. It has been pretty much all Auburn in the second half. They've outscored Kent State 24-6 since the start of the third quarter. Woody Barrett getting a chance for Kent State, the quarterback who began his career right here at Auburn. And he'll hand it off to Bangda, who is swarmed. Did not get back to the line of scrimmage. Kevin. Are you surprised, Ahmad, that Syracuse-Clemson is as close as it is, considering Maryland lost to Temple today after dropping 60-plus on Syracuse, which begged the question, how would Syracuse stop Clemson and its great offense?
Wow. Yeah, no. And as we have an injured Tiger.
Derek Hall, injured player.
Indeed. Defensive end, freshman defensive end. Listen, and when you really look at the way Syracuse has actually played against Clemson, you could argue that they've played them as close and as good as anybody. And so that's not surprising to me. What is surprising is that they don't have Eric Dungy. And I thought he was the difference with his swag, his confidence. And I've been a little disappointed in the Orangemen. I thought they were, I picked them early in the year as one of my dark horses for an opportunity to make some noise. And they haven't been able to put it all together.
Sean Lewis, the head coach at Kent State, was on Dino Babers' staff when Syracuse pulled that upset a couple of years ago. You can help those affected by Hurricane Dorian. Your donation will support Red Cross preparation, response, and recovery in the U.S. and the Bahamas. www.redcross.org/ESPN or call 1-800-RED-CROSS to donate. Second down for Kent State. Derek Hall taken off the field for Auburn, true freshman defensive lineman. Auburn's used a lot of its depth tonight, especially on the defensive side. There's Bangda for Kent State, and it's third down. Kent State next week has Bowling Green. That was the Golden Flash's only FBS win a season ago. Sean Lewis, a second-year head coach, trying to rebuild this program. They had a great 11-win season under Darrell Hazel in 2012. But have not had a ton of success since then. They have not had a winning season. In fact, only 3 winning seasons since 1978. Woody Barrett felled a yard behind the line. It's fourth down. And this is one of the hardest jobs in college football in Kent State.
It is, and they'll get a chance to prove just how far they've come along in future schedules. 2020, they've got Kentucky and Alabama. 2021, Iowa and Texas A&M, and in 2022 they take on the Bulldogs of Georgia. Listen, it gives you confidence, but like I said earlier, at one point you have to start worrying about your players and them getting injured. And you just don't have the depth to roll out here and to compete against some of these premier programs that have 5-stars sitting on the bench.
And the cynic will say, why play a game where you likely don't have a chance? But these games bring in a lot of income for the athletic department. In fact, their 3 Power 5 games this year make up about 10 to 15% of the athletic department's budget.
Wow.
Sunday NFL Countdown gets your Week 2 started. Randy Moss sits down with former LSU teammates Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry, plus the best catches from college, and you got Mossed. It all starts at 10 a.m. on ESPN, and then Monday Night Football. I can't wait to see Twitter this Monday. The Browns and Jets. It should be a cauldron of positivity, right?
Oh, man. Greg Williams, my former head coach in Buffalo, making headlines.
All right, so I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Of course you will.
Was he teaching how to tackle dirty, if you will?
Listen, there is nothing nice about Greg Williams. So, I mean, if you're asking me a question, I mean, he's never chill. I mean, everything is exciting. He was a head coach at the time, and still, he'd come in those defensive rooms and he'd light us up, man.
Harold Joyner, a 6'4" running back, wide receiver type. Played both positions in the spring, and Gus Malzahn lit up about his potential and the various ways Auburn can deploy him as he gets more experience.
You're totally right, because, with him, you've got 2 players or 2 positions in one package. So what you can do in terms of formations, where you line them up, how you line them up, and he creates mismatches with his size at 6'4".
He gets it again from Gatewood, and a first down for Joyner.
And that's where he'll really have to be at his best, is getting behind his pads. And, with a frame that big, what it does is that your target radius is pretty, that target, you can hit somebody and you can get right in those pads and drive them back. And he'll learn how to do that. But, this is a kid that he'll find a place here with his skill set. And the coaching staff, they're willing to look and to find where he fits best in this offense.
Gatewood keeps. First down and more. And out of bounds inside the 30.
That's just not right, The other redshirt freshman, Matt Harmon, I'm sure he was wondering what just happened. You got a 6'5" guard that gave you a stutter step like a running back and then burn off around the corner from you. You see that long stride, his ability to eat up grass and turf and to move the ball downfield. An exceptional talent.
430-plus rushing yards for Auburn. Gatewood, nice shake. Inside the 10 and out of bounds, first and goal. And Joey Gatewood closing in on a 100-yard day himself. Shivers and Whitlow already north of a century.
And that's the 13th time under Gus with 200-yard rushers. And, this is what they wanted. And I think as they continue to gain confidence in their running ability, I think this is a package, you have to go to when SEC play starts. You got to see how this kid can perform under those types of circumstances. And is he a gamer? Is he a playmaker? And can he make something happen?
That time, he is wrestled to the ground in the backfield. Matt Barr, one of the two in on the stop. And we have not called Barr's name much today. He had 15 tackles last week. You really liked what you saw on film from the sixth-year senior.
He's active. He loses his job. And let me tell you something. He played with passion. He played with fervor. And he played like he was upset. And defensively, that's how you have to play it. You have to play aggressive, and you have to play with a chip on your shoulder.
Gatewood 5 yards away from becoming Auburn's third 100-yard rusher of the game. He'll have a chance to do it here. He'll be close.
It's a very fluid athlete. The knee bend, the ability to get in those creases. It's college football hasn't seen a lot of guys like this, and with that size, and it's rare. And he shows those types of movements and fluidity in his hips and with his footwork to know that, he's a special talent.
Gatewood at 99 yards rushing after that last one.
You think he's keeping this thing? I bet he is.
Got to. He'll throw. J.J. Wilson, and it's 4th and goal at the 2. And if Auburn scores or does not score here, there are some people who have a vested interest in this.
Indeed, well, and they're going for it. It looks like he sent in his big boy package, and that was a well-thrown ball. It's thrown on time in the right location.
This has to be Gatewood, right?
I mean, listen, this is where you start to form your own legacy. When you make plays like this inside of the 5 and you will yourself into the end zone.
Matthew Hill in motion. Gatewood gets the block from Hill to seal the corner. Joey Gatewood gets over 100 yards. He's in the end zone. And Auburn makes it 54-16.
And there may be people at home that are asking, why would you do this? What's the purpose of going here? Listen. With SEC play starting, you've got to start putting stuff on film where other teams in this conference know that you got it in your arsenal. And rolling a guy out at 6'5" with this type of ability, let me tell you something. There are a lot of defenses right now that have to play this offense, and they've got to prepare for that monster.
You look at the numbers, 600-plus yards of total offense, 455. How much of what you saw tonight do you feel that it'll carry over once the competition steps up?
It's confidence, and because they didn't have much success versus Oregon and Tulane, just the ability to do it. This is what they were supposed to do, right? And so it gives you confidence that when you execute the game plan and you do what you're coached and taught to do, that these types of results are possible. Now, will it be this easy during SEC play? Of course not. But now you know this is what we need to do to sustain ourselves at a level where we can compete and contend against the top teams in the SEC and the top teams in the country.
And I'm a big believer. I know Georgia and LSU and Alabama await on the back end of the schedule.
Yeah.
But the next 3 games, A&M, Mississippi State, Florida, Auburn should view those all as winnable. Now, 2 are on the road. If they go 2-1 in that stretch, I think now you have a little house money on the home stretch, where even if you lose all 3, I don't think Gus Malzahn will see that his job is in danger. He still probably will be back next season. You go 1-2 or worst case 0-3 over these next 3 games. Now you face a harsh reality where you still have Bama, LSU, Georgia, and oh, by the way, you could be coaching for your job. Fair catch is called, and Kent State will have it at the 25. Tonight, after Texas Tech in Arizona Sports Center, Stan and Neil with you. The latest on Antonio Brown's status for tomorrow's game against the Dolphins. Plus, no ranked versus ranked matchups today, but ranked teams did lose. They'll update you on what happened in college football. And Tyson Fury against Otto Wallin. Big heavyweight title fight tonight on ESPN+. Woody Barrett slings it over the middle. Incomplete. Keyshawn Abram, the intended target. 2:20 to go. Sean Lewis knows he has a big rebuilding task at Kent State, but a lot of energy. He's recruited already better than expected. When we spoke to him, the word that he would go back to, family, family, family. Didn't say we're a team, didn't say we're a program. It was family, and that's what he's trying to build. He's got the beard going. That's part of that is to build some chemistry and continuity as Barrett can't escape. They made the players and the coaches who wanted to be a part of the beard gang sign a contract before the season, and it was this simple. You can grow out a beard, but if you start to grow out a beard, you can't shave it until the season's over. Now, if you want to shave your mustache, that's okay. But the beard, doesn't matter if you're nesting a war eagle in there, you can't shave the beard. And he said about 50% of the team signed up.
Those are team bonding, team building things that happen.
Oh, boy. Auburn tonight, by the way, 3 100-yard rushers in the same game for the first time since 1983. Bo Jackson was one of them back then. Speaking of beards, hang on, getting a little chippy.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 28 on the kicking team. Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 13 on the receiving team. Those penalties offset. First down. That is the first unsportsmanlike conduct foul for both players.
Mandela, Lawrence Burke, guilty for Kent State. Javaris Davis for Auburn. Nice job by the officials getting in there right away to de-escalate. New quarterback for Auburn. It's Cord Sandberg. He'll hand it off on first down. Sandberg, a former minor league baseball player, spent 6 years in the Phillies organization, 24 years old. And he's a redshirt freshman, so if you start to do the math, he could be a student athlete at Auburn until he's 26, 27 years old.
That's a great advantage. And I played with a few of these guys that came in from baseball. They are so mature and they're used to being pros. You don't have to worry about them. They do change the dynamic of a locker room.
Sandberg keeps on the zone read. It's third down.
And I'm sure Gus is happy that he's able to get them in the ball game. They were able to do what they needed to do to get some of these young guys in and to build some depth, put some stuff on film that will threaten these defenses down the road. And now you cross your fingers and hope that it goes well. With 4 of the next 5 games on the road, they haven't had a true road game. The Tigers will be tested.
Now they will call one more play. And that takes us to the final horn. Auburn tonight did what a top 10 team is supposed to.
Indeed.
55-16 against Kent State. As a lot of the fans will say around here, that is Nick Saban's alma mater. A&M next week. The gauntlet begins for Auburn as September winds down. Portland State, Boise State, next on ESPN2.